You told us that Operation Warp Speed, the U.S. government has bought on the order of 1 million doses of this.
Correct.
What about distribution globally? How is that proceeding? On
Yes.
what basis? With the COVID vaccine produced by Pfizer, there was some chagrin thinking that the U.S. government didn't buy enough. Maybe. What about in this case? If there's a desire for more in the United States, are you able to supply it?
Well, supply is increasing. We've partnered with another drug company, Amgen, and then a contract organization that makes this kind of complicated drug in Korea as well. So we're ramping up supply. We repurposed 2 of our own factories, and we'll really start to hit stride in Q1. So far in 2020, we've sold about 95% of what we're going to be able to ship to the US government. The other 5% to Canada, who approved this as well and is distributing it. So far, there are countries in Central Europe and the Middle East who also have just approved it and will get supply beginning at the end of the month, early next year. We try to be very thoughtful about this. It can be controversial as a global company, as you appreciate, David, we operate in all these places and we're a citizen there as well. We went to the US first, but as countries approve the Lilly antibody, they can then procure it from us directly. And we've committed to allocate that, should we have constraints, by disease burden between countries. So the countries with the most outbreak will get more, and those countries with less will get less. That's a difficult decision to make, but one we think is ethical, independent of ability to pay or other factors. And then we also have decided to price the medicine in a very different way than normal, which is to ask the wealthiest countries, as defined by gross national income per capita, to pay the same amount, which is the US price, essentially, a little more than $1,000 a dose. And those middle income countries like Brazil and South Africa, to pay quite a bit less than that, less than half of that. And then low income countries, we've partnered with the Gates Foundation to make this available at no cost or marginal cost, so that they're really paying well below the total cost of the therapy. And that's just beginning now in a few countries as well. So kind of a unique setup, given the pandemic, that we thought was the most ethical and appropriate approach.
It's fascinating, and I need to just ask you: is that a model, do you think, for future distribution of crucial drugs, therapeutic medicines? That sliding scale, pay according to your ability.
I do, and as an industry leader, we've advocated for the system, not just for pandemics, but for regular medicines as well. You know, the cost to produce a medicine is not zero, but most of the cost is the R&D cost, to prove it's worth something, to the cost of your scientific laboratories to develop it. And we think that more of the burden of that cost should be shared amongst wealthy countries, and less of the burden of that amongst poorer countries for any medicine. And that way we can have more equitable health improvement everywhere, and that ability to pay at the country level anyway is not a barrier to access for new breakthrough medicines. We're trying it here in this pandemic because it's new, things are moving fast, governments seem to be pretty cooperative with the idea, but we hope that elements of this catch on.